Imagine, for a moment, that you are setting out on a long journey. You have a backpack on your shoulders. But this is no ordinary backpack. It has no bottom. And as you walk, you keep picking up rocks along the path and putting them inside. A rock for a mistake you made 5 years ago. A rock for a harsh word someone said to you yesterday. A heavy stone for the fear of what might happen tomorrow. The further you walk, the heavier the bag becomes. Your back aches. Your knees shake. You are exhausted. But you refuse to take the bag off. You have convinced yourself that you need these rocks. That they are part of who you are. Does this sound familiar? We all carry invisible baggage. We treat our minds like storage units, cramming them with every worry, every doubt, and every regret, until there is no room left to breathe. Today's story is about a young man named Rian. And perhaps, it is also a story about you. It is a story about the courage it takes to put the bag down. To realize that in order to become full, you must first become empty. Rian was a young man who seemed to have everything, yet he possessed nothing of true value. He had a job, a home, and ambition. But he also had a mind that never slept. Rian was a prisoner of his own thoughts. He was an overthinker. From the moment he woke up until the moment he collapsed into bed, his mind was a battlefield. Why did I say that in the meeting? What if I lose my job next month? Am I good enough? Why does everyone else seem so happy while I am drowning? The noise was deafening. It was like a radio stuck between stations, static, chaos, and confusion. He tried to work harder, thinking success would bring peace. But success only brought more responsibilities, and more responsibilities brought more worry. He felt heavy. Not physically, but spiritually. He was carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders, and he was crumbling under the pressure. One rainy evening, staring at his reflection in a cracked mirror, Rian realized he couldn't go on like this. He looked into his own tired eyes and made a decision. He would go in search of silence. He had heard whispers of an old Zen monastery located at the peak of the misty mountain. Legend said that a wise master lived there, a man named Hideo, who knew the secret of a quiet mind. Rian packed his bag, his large, heavy leather backpack, and began the climb. The journey was brutal. The path was steep and slippery. The air grew thin. But the physical struggle was nothing compared to the war inside his head. With every step, his mind argued with him. This is a waste of time, his mind whispered. You are running away, it accused. You will never find peace, it mocked. But Rian kept climbing. He climbed past the clouds, past the noise of the world below, until finally, he reached the ancient wooden gates of the monastery. The monastery was a place out of time. The silence here was not empty, it was heavy with presence. The only sounds were the rustling of leaves and the distant chime of a bell. In the center of a rock garden, under an ancient cherry blossom tree, sat Master Hideo. The master sat in perfect stillness. He looked as if he had grown out of the earth itself. His eyes were closed, and his face held a calm that Rian had never seen before. It was the calm of a deep ocean. Rian, out of breath and sweating, dropped his heavy bag with a loud thud that echoed through the garden. He fell to his knees before the master. "Master," Rian gasped, his voice trembling. "Please, you must help me." Master Hideo slowly opened his eyes. They were clear, like a cloudless sky. He did not speak. He simply watched. Rian couldn't handle the silence. He began to talk. He poured out everything. I cannot sleep, Master. My mind, it won't stop. I worry about the past. I fear the future. I have read every book on success, I have tried meditation apps, I have worked harder than anyone I know, but I am miserable. I feel like I am exploding inside. Please, teach me your wisdom. Give me a mantra. Give me a solution. Tell me how to fix this. Rian spoke for a long time. He listed his achievements, his failures, his fears, and his theories. He desperately wanted the master to understand how complex his problems were. When Rian finally stopped, panting for air, Master Hideo smiled gently. He still hadn't said a word. The old master slowly stood up and gestured for Rian to sit at a low wooden table. He began to prepare tea. His movements were a dance. Slow. Deliberate. He cleaned the bowl. He placed the tea leaves. He poured the hot water. Every motion was complete in itself. Rian watched, impatient. Why is he making tea? Rian thought. I am here for life-changing advice, not for a beverage. Master Hideo placed a small, rustic cup in front of Rian. He lifted the iron kettle and began to pour. The steaming amber liquid filled the cup. It reached the brim. But the master did not stop pouring. He kept pouring. The tea overflowed. It spilled over the edge of the cup, splashing onto the wooden saucer, then onto the table, and finally, the hot liquid dripped onto Rian's hand. Master! Stop! Rian shouted, jumping back and pulling his hand away. What are you doing? Can't you see the cup is full? It can't hold any more. Master Hideo stopped. He calmly placed the kettle down. He looked deep into Rian's eyes and spoke for the first time. His voice was like the sound of a deep drum. Exactly, the master said. You are observant. Like this cup, the master continued, pointing to the mess on the table, you are full of your own opinions, your own speculations, your own worries, and your own ego. You came here asking for my wisdom. You came here asking for peace. But how can I show you the way of Zen unless you first empty your cup? Rian stared at the spilled tea. The realization hit him harder than any stone. He had come looking for more answers, more strategies, more knowledge. But the problem wasn't that he lacked something. The problem was that he had too much. Rian, the master said softly. You treat your mind like a warehouse, storing every fear and every regret. But the mind is meant to be a window, not a wall. It is meant to let things pass through, like clouds in the sky. If you want to understand the truth, you must give up your need to control everything. You must give up your attachment to your past stories. Empty your mind. Be formless. Shapeless. Like water. Rian stayed at the monastery for a while longer. He didn't learn any new complex theories. Instead, he learned the art of unlearning. He learned to let go. When it was time to leave, Rian walked back down the mountain path. The sun was setting, painting the sky in gold and violet. He picked up his leather backpack. It contained the same clothes, the same items. Physically, it weighed the same. But to Rian, it felt light as a feather. He realized that the heaviness he had felt all his life wasn't in the bag. It was in his mind. And now, for the first time in forever, his cup was empty. What about you? Are you carrying a cup that is overflowing? Are you holding on to anger, fear, or anxiety so tightly that there is no room for happiness to enter? Today, take a moment. Breathe. And let it go. Empty your cup. Empty your mind. Only when you are empty, can you truly be filled.